Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype online. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming. Continuing the sutras, the techniques, the methods from Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, one of the most ancient treatises. Tantra is what are the indications to know that this particular technique works for you. You have to understand first, Tantra is the deepest science. And Shiva is known as Adi Yogi. There are two words, Adi and Ant. Adi means the beginning and Ant means the end. That which exists in the beginning and that will exist in the end is Shiva. And this is why it is called eternal, unborn, unmanifest. Tantra, now there is a lot of difference in understanding that in the beginning there was light and light was with God. Christians say. In fact, there is the existence is 9 parts dark, and all that happens, growth that takes place in the darkness. The seed sprouts in the darkness, it is planted in the darkness. The child is conceived and grows in darkness. And there have been masters who have lived in utter darkness. They lived in the caves, kept the opening of the cave closed so that not even a single ray of light comes out. And in the darkness of night, they come to finish all that are the physical requirements. This is why it is very difficult for you, for an ordinary human mind, to understand Tantra. There are hasty minds who conclude this Shiva symbol as phallic symbol. They do not understand the meaning. These treatises emerged out of Sanskrit language, which is very scientific and much more advanced. That's why it is said if in future, if a high quality computers are to be created, Sanskrit will be the language. In Sanskrit there is a word ling. Ling means gender. And in colloquial language, ling also refers to phallic organ. So there are 3 genders, masculine gender, feminine gender and neuter gender. In English language, we know that. In Sanskrit, the masculine gender comes from the two words. Ling means gender, Purush means male. So Pulling means masculine gender. Striling, Stri means female. Striling means feminine gender. And Napunsak Ling means neuter gender. It is in this light, when you look at Tantra, it is the deepest science for transformation of human consciousness. What are the indications to know that a particular technique is the one practicing which it will lead to the ultimate? Certainly there are indications. When you start practicing a particular technique, you begin to feel a different identity within you. You are no more the same. If the technique fits you or is suitable, immediately you are a different person. If you are a husband, you are no more the same husband. If you are a shopkeeper, you will never remain the same. Whatsoever you are, if this technique fits you, you will be a different person. In my office and in the business place, I have a slogan. Do all you say. Actions define you. There are people who talk and there is no correlation between their talks and actions. It is the actions that define you. So if a particular technique that you are doing, it's working for you, you will not remain the same person. Whatsoever you are, if the technique fits you, you will be a different person. That is the first indication. So if you begin to feel strange about you, know that something is beginning to happen within you. If you remain the same, do not feel any strangeness, nothing is happening. This is the first indication that of whether a technique fits you. If it fits you, immediately you are transported, transformed into a different person. Suddenly this happens. You look at the world and the phenomena around you in a different way. Eyes are the same, but the looker behind the eyes is different now. Secondly, all that creates tension, conflict, suddenly starts dropping. It is not that you have practiced the method for years, then your conflict, anxieties and tensions will drop. No, this does not happen that way. If the method fits you, immediately the tensions, the conflicts, everything starts dropping. You can feel a certain kind of aliveness coming to you. You are being unburdened. There may be 1,001 problems around you, but they do not burden you. You begin to feel, if the technique fits you, the law of gravitation, the gravity has become reversed. Now, Earth is not pulling you downwards. Instead, the sky is pulling you upwards. How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel when a plane takes off? Everything gets disturbed. Suddenly there is a jerk and gravity becomes meaningless. Now the earth is not pulling you, you are moving away from the gravity. The same jerk happens if any of this technique fits you. And as soon as it fits you, you take off suddenly. Suddenly you feel the earth has become meaningless for you. There is no gravity. There is nothing pulling you downwards. You are going up, up and up and up. You are being pulled up. In religious terminology, this is called grace. Is the force that pulls you upward. There are two forces. One is gravity that pulls you towards the earth, and the grace that descends from the heaven, from the sky. Grace means you are being pulled upwards. Gravity means you are being pulled downwards. That is why in meditation, people suddenly feel weightless. They have no weight. That is why many people feel an inner state of levitation. It's not that you have to levitate. Someone has heard the word levitation and he said that I do the levitation meditation. I had to remain quiet. So many have reported this, that when the technique fits them, they feel strange. We close our eyes and we feel that we are a little bit above the earth. 1 foot, 2 feet, or even 4 feet above the earth. When we open our eyes, we find that we are just on the ground. And again, when we close our eyes, we levitate. What is this happening? When we open our eyes, we are just on the ground. And when we close our eyes, we feel that we are above. The body remains on the ground, but you levitate. This levitation is really a pull from the above. If the technique fits you, you have been pulled, because working of the technique is to make you available for you the upward pull. The technique when it works, the very purpose of that technique is to pull you upward. If the technique fits you, you are pulled because working of the technique is to make available for you the upward pull. This is what the technique means, to make you available for the force which can pull you upward. The very purpose of the technique is to generate it in and around you a pull, a force that pulls you upward. So if it fits you, you feel weightless. Thirdly, whatsoever you do, howsoever trivial it may be, will be different. You will walk in a different way. You will sit in a different way. You will eat in a different way. Everything will be different. This difference you feel everywhere, all around. Sometimes this strange experience of being different begins to create fear in the person. One wants again to go back and be the same, because one was so attuned with the old. It was a routine world, even boring, but you were so efficient in it. Now everywhere you begin to feel a gap. You will feel that your efficiency is lost. You will feel that your utility is lost, is reduced. You will feel everywhere you are an outsider. One has to pass through this period. You become attuned again. You have changed. Not the world, you have changed, not the world, so you will not fit into it. A person who works, like for instance, the very purpose of the business is, the very purpose of competition is that you have to be the best. One day it happened, two people, one was the family member and the other was friend. He said, "You have a problem now." I said, "What is the problem?" He said, "One person has opened the similar kind of business that you are doing. So you have a competition." Wanted to know my reaction. I immediately responded, "I have no competition with anyone. He is not my competitor. He will earn whatever is in his luck. He cannot take away my luck. Besides, my competition is with me. How I interacted with the people yesterday, is my dealing with the people today is different, is improved over yesterday or not? This is my competition." And two with his wide open eyes gaped at me. This is not the way a business person operates. I had put a slogan in my office as well as in business. It is the actions that define you. Actions define you. And the first part, act, but do not say something like this, because actions define you. So when you are moving in a different direction, entering into the spiritual field, now you will feel everywhere a gap. You are feeling the efficiency is lost. You will feel that utility is reduced. You will feel everywhere you are an outsider. The businessman, I had noticed during Christmas time certain items sell very well. In Trinidad, the bicycles sells very well. So two business people, they are on the same street, obliquely opposite to one another, and both of them display their bicycles outside, and they have the big price tags. So a salesperson is interested in, from each shop, to see the actions of the others. So one person put the price of the bicycles X. Now the salesperson, the girl from the other shop, comes out and sees, oh, this person reduced the price. He goes and tells the boss inside. Boss says, drop the price by $5 and put a new tag. This is how the business is run. People come and tell me that this particular item is being sold in the other place at this price. I said, you are free to take the item from wherever you find cheaper. I know my prices and I know my quality. So in the beginning, the people around you react, then they start flowing into that system. We know this item cannot be sold at this price. The people, so this is how it happens in every field. I give you the examples from around me, but you will feel everywhere that you are an outsider. You do not act the way this particular profession where you are demands you to act. One has to pass through this period and you will become attuned again. You have changed, not the world, so you will not fit into it. You will remember the third thing, when a technique fits into you, you will not fit into the world. You will become a total misfit in the world. Now, there had been a certain occasions when out of courtesy I have to attend certain functions. I am taking my food and sitting down in a place. So someone comes and sits down by me. A number of times it happens, people most cases people fill the plate, but I am not doing that. I look around the buffet table. What are the items available displayed? Out of these, which one suits me? I will take one or two items on my plate, a single piece. For instance, there is a baked potato. I will take two pieces of another item, taste it. If it fits, I will repeat it or take something else. There is no hurry. So people observe this, or they will come and engage into useless talks they are not interested in, but they see me. So what's up? What is latest in meditation? This person is not interested in. My response is, I am eating at the moment. I can do either of two things. Either I eat or I talk. I cannot eat and talk. The focus will not be different. And the basic act of eating means you eat meditatively. This is the latest in meditation. And when you talk meditatively and be totally attentive that you are talking. Talk is happening or eating is happening. So something like this. Oh, so what about the politics? Politics is the last refuge of scoundrels. So they find this man is not worth talking. Or sometimes some people find that just for the sake of entertainment is good enough. So you begin to feel outsider. You have changed, but not the world, so you will not fit. You will remember the third thing, when a technique fits you, you will not fit into the world. You will become an unfit. Everywhere something is loose, so somewhere the bolt is missing. Everywhere you will feel that there has been an earthquake and everything has remained the same. Only you have become different, but you will be attuned again, but on a different plane or higher plane. You are climbing the spiral staircase. One moment you were at the ground level where the activities were taking place. Now you have completed one entire circle of the staircase. You are one level higher than the ground level. You will see a different view, different perspective of the crowd on the ground. The people who report the events like this, they report it from a much higher altitude. The difference is felt just like when a child grows and becomes sexually mature. At the age of 14 or 15, every boy feels that he has become strange. A new force, a new energy has entered into you as sex. It was not there before, or it was, but it was hidden. Now for the first time here, it has become available to this new kind of force. That's why the boys are very awkward. Girls, boys, when they become sexually mature, they feel very awkward. They are nowhere. They are no longer children and they are not yet men. They are in between, fitting nowhere. If they play with the small children, they feel awkward. They have become men. If they start making friendship with the men, they feel awkward that they are still children and do not fit. Something like this, a phenomena happens when a technique fits you. A new energy, a new force becomes available that is greater than sex. You have known only the force, the energy of sex, but now you feel something different. You are again in a transitory state. Now you cannot fit in this world of worldly men. You are not a child, so you cannot fit in the world of the saints. And in between, you begin to feel awkward. If a technique fits you, then three things will come up. You may not have expected that I would say these things. You may have expected that I would say that you will become silent, more quiet, and I am saying something which is quite contrary. You will become more disturbed. When the technique fits you, you will become more disturbed, just as when you are moving from gravity to grace, there is a period of transition, just as it is just like plane taking off. You will be more disturbed, not more silent. Silent is not that silence will not come. Silence will come later on. Just as when plane takes off, there is a disturbance, and then when it reaches a certain altitude, everything becomes normal. During this period, you are asked to keep your seat belt fastened, and back straight. But when you reach at a certain altitude at which the plane has to fly, you are asked that you can keep your seat belts unfastened and back rest can be different. Silence will come later, and if silence comes and not disturbance, know well this is not the technique that fits you. It is just getting adjusted to the old patterns. In the beginning there will be disturbance, there will be chaos, but afterwards things will settle. That is why the more people go for prayer than for meditation, because prayer gives you a certain amount of consolation, it fits you, it adjusts you to the world. Prayer was doing virtually the same thing that psychoanalysts are doing now. If you are disturbed, they will make you less disturbed, adjusted to the old pattern. Psychoanalysis works to fit you into the system, to the society, to the family. So by going to a psychoanalyst for 1, 2 or 3 years, you will not get better. Instead, you will be more adjusted. Prayer does the same thing, and the priest, in a way, does the same work that psychoanalyst does it. They make you adjusted. Your child has died, so you are disturbed. You go to the priest. He says, do not be disturbed. Only those children die early whom God loves dearly. He calls them up and you feel satisfied. Your child has been called by the God. God loves him more. Or the priest says something else. Do not be worried, soul never dies. Child is in heaven. People say all kind of things. Your child is born as God in the seventh heaven and he is very happy. He is waiting for you to come. These prayers are the way to adjust to a certain pattern and you feel better. Meditation, on the contrary, is a science. It is not going to help you in the process of adjustments. It is going to transform you. That is why I say these three signs. These three signs will be the indication. Silence will come, but not as an adjustment. Silence will come as an inner flowering. Silence can come out of the adjustment when priest does the adjustment and says things to you that appeal to you. And the other is when there is an inner flowering, the flower begins to blossom within, then there is a silence. Then silence will not be an adjustment with the society, with the family, with the world, the business. No. This silence is the outcome of harmony with the existence. Then a deep harmony flowers between you and the existence, and as a result there is silence. But that will come later. First you will get disturbed. You will become mad-like. If a technique fits you, it will make you aware of everything that you are. Your anarchy, your mind, your madness, everything will come to the light from the darkness. You are just a darkness. When technique fits, it is as if suddenly a light has come and the whole mess becomes apparent, known to you. For the first time you will encounter yourself as you are. You would like to put the light off and go to sleep once again because it is fearful. This is the point where the master becomes useful. He says, do not be afraid. It is just the beginning, and do not escape from this. At first, this light shows who you are, and if you can go on and on, the same light will transform you towards what you can be. But fear comes with it. When the light comes and shows you all the disturbances within you, the shortcomings, you become afraid and you want to go to the old patterns. That's the moment you need the guide, the master. Do not be afraid. It is showing you the light, what you are. And if you continue, and he says continue, the process of transformation has begun, and it will transform you towards what you can be. This is the way you begin to know if a particular technique out of these 112 techniques works for you or not, it fits you or not. Only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.